Hello everyone, this is Paige Walsh here, and today's article that we are looking at is Alive in the Swamp, Assessing Digital Innovations in Education by Michael Fullen and Caitlin Donnelly. All right, so just scrolling down to the first part of their article here. So it says that in today's school system, there is a continuous push as well as a pull that is factor that is being placed on students. So this pushes the fact that school has become extremely boring and that students and teachers are psychologically and literally being pushed out of the school. You can see in this little graph here that there is a loss of engagement as students continue on to each year of schooling. And the pull that we see is this rapid expanding of innovations. So to bring students to an engagement level as well as a high rate of successful learning results, we need to combine three elements. And the three elements that they talk about combining together are system change, technology, as well as pedagogy. So in Stratosphere, the authors suggest 4 points that should be implemented in the new learning system, and what must be met is an irresistibly engaging it should be irresistibly engaging for students and teachers. It should be elegantly easy to adapt and use. There should be ubiquitous access to technology 24/7, and it should be steeped in real life problem solving. So I think that these 4 points relate directly with the study that's below in the article, which I'll talk about in a moment, and how each component of technology, pedagogy, and change knowledge are used in the most successful way. So another thing that they talk about here that should be seen in the new system is seeing the teacher as an activator. So right here, so that is including reciprocal teaching, where the students and the teachers are both teachers learning from each other, regular tailored feedback, student-teacher verbal interaction, metacognition, making explicit the thinking process, changing goals, and setting ambitious and achievable learning goals. So before, and in a lot of my classes, we have heard that the guide on the side is a really great teaching method, but nowadays, as we can see in this study, it's being surpassed by the reciprocal and interactive teaching. All right, so we're just going to scroll down. So now the article kind of goes into its index, and this is the scorecard that they use when they're looking at pedagogy, system change, and technology. So it's divided into these three components, and then there's also these three subcomponents for each of them. And this is kind of the rating scale that they use. So green is good. It's likely to succeed and produce transformative outcomes. Amber green is mixed. Some aspects are solid, a few aspects are lacking full potential. And amber red, it's problematic, requires substantial attention. Some portions are gaps and need improvement. And red is off track, it's unlikely to succeed. So just as we scroll through their article here, this is kind of just another way to achieve green and innovation really is world class. Amber green, it's on the way to being outstanding. There still could be a couple improvements and a couple tweaks that need to be made. Amber red, it fulfill the subcomponents, but it's most likely problematic and it's going to be off track and you're not really going to see the success that you need. And a red rating, it misses the components, it's lacking a lot, and there's not going to be success or much progress seen from that. All right, so just as we go through, so the first component that they talk about is pedagogy. And the first subcomponent within that is clarity and quality of the intended outcome. So they have some questions here, and I'll post on my blog below. Below they have a clear graph of these different subcomponents. So really for clarity and quality of the intended outcome. We're looking at, are the learning outcomes explicit and defined for the school, the student, and the parents? Digital technologies that do not align with what is to be learned will most likely not translate into increased attainment. So to achieve a green rating, generally each activity lesson and the course should have a clear outcome that is laid out, and it should be clear for everyone. So the second subcomponent of pedagogy is the pedagogy itself. So we're looking at how is the teacher's role defined. We're looking at that teacher as an activator again. Are they having an interactive teaching experience with the students? Are they able to manage all of them? Sorry, so I'm just going to scroll down here. So for the green one, the pedagogy itself, the teaching, should be engaged through inquiry. The learning should be personalized, so really getting to know your students, knowing what's going to work best for them. So the third subcomponent of pedagogy is quality of assessment platform. So what is the quality of the built-in assessment systems? Is it clear how the outcomes will be measured? So one thing that I really liked here that they said is in some of the best cases, the student is unaware that they are even being assessed. So they talked about different, using different gaming methods, or just the fact that the next generations of assessment will most likely focus on activities which result in a product or a performance. So that's a lot more engaging for students than the traditional methods of here's your information, write it down on a test. Kind of the product or performance is a lot more useful and interesting for students. So the next main component is the system change, and the first subcomponent within that is implementation support. So what support is provided for technology functions and what parts are included? Does the innovation include teacher training and professional development? So for the best cases and green cases, the product or service includes full implementation support that acts in constant partnership with dialogue with the school system and teachers and students. So yeah, and then the second subcomponent of system change is value for money. So is the product of sufficient value demonstrated by learning outcomes? Does the product accelerate quality of learning? And for kind of the best innovation and the green rating, I thought this was kind of neat that the technology that you choose or the system that you choose should be able to produce twice the learning outcome for half the cost of the previous methods. And then the last subcomponent that we're looking at within system change is the whole system change potential. So does the innovation have the ability to scale system-wide? Will clusters of schools learn from each other? Will teachers learn from each other? And in the best case, the change in product designs is so absorbing, it says that it's kind of going to be spread like wildfire. And in the best cases as well, it's going to be small clusters of school systems that are really going to build off each other and learn from each other and just kind of help teach each other with that. So the last main component is technology. So the first subcomponent of that is quality of user experience or model design. So how is the technology experience for the end user? Is it easy to use and intuitive? Is it irresistibly engaging and elegantly efficient? Does this technology incorporate latest design principles for user experience, or does it look dated? So for the best case scenario, the technology, it should be engaging for the learner and well designed. So that's kind of goes back to one of those 4 points above in Stratosphere, that it's irresistibly engaging for students and teachers. And the content of the system should be accurate, engaging, and tailored to learning outcomes. So you need to find a technology that directly relates to what you're learning in the course. It's all about not just using technology, but how you're using it. So the second subcomponent is ease of adaptation. So is the technology adaptable? Is it highly connective? Can the technology be accessed on any device? So that kind of goes back to the other point. Access to the technology 24/7. So students should be able, as I just said, to access this platform kind of anytime, anywhere, any place. And then the last subcomponent that we're looking at is the comprehensiveness and integration. So for the technology to be effective in the classroom, it should be integrated in all relevant aspects of learning environment and a learning day. So for world class, for the best case scenario, all elements of technology, pedagogy, and system change are integrated. Teachers should have an understanding about the technology, know how to use it as an engagement tool to enhance students' learning, and they should be confident about it overall, how to use it, and just like when to use it in the classroom. All right, so just as we scroll down to kind of part 4 of the article, talks about navigating the swamp and kind of their suggestions. They have 6 different suggestions for how you should navigate the swamp. So the first one that they have is use their index. So they say work to maximize the integration of technology, pedagogy, and systemness. Number 2, lead with pedagogy. Put pedagogy in the driver's seat and use technology to accelerate learning relative to particular learning outcomes. Recommendation 3, develop capacity with respect to system support. Ensure the system is comprehensive, integrated, and relentless. Recommendation 4, focus on scale and embeddedness. Spend time and resources on the innovations that will be truly system transformative. Number 5, be open to surprises. Take a portfolio approach to innovations and allow for failure. If you look over here at the whole system reform by Barbara Donnelly and Rizvi, they look at whole system reform right here as systematic innovation plus whole system reform. Sorry, whole system revolution is systematic innovation and whole system reform put together. And then the last recommendation that they have is clarity, what it means to be a learner in the 21st century. So there's a little equation here that a well-educated student is an ethical, educated person. They have knowledge and they're able to think very well, have thoughts, and they have leadership as well. And that there's another, so that's by Mark Prensky, and he also says E-Terra is another equation for students. So that is effective thinking, effective action, effective relationships, and effective accomplishment. So basically, we just want to keep things simple and we want to keep it focused and keep learning. So I'm just going to post these pictures up to my blog so you'll be able to look through them, but it just kind of goes over the different subcomponents of the components, kind of their definition, what a really great example of those subcomponents looks like, and what a not so good, what a unsuccessful or most unlikely to succeed example is. So we've got the 3 for pedagogy, 1, 2, 3 for system change, and then last but not least, the 3 for technology. So hopefully this was a good summary for you for this article, and just kind of going over these, just looking at some areas that I think could be problematic in a teacher setting, kind of trying to implement these things. Kind of the area that I see the most challenging would be the technology itself and being able to have that access 24/7. I know in some of the schools that I have been at, the access isn't always to the internet isn't always the greatest. Even sometimes just in my PS2, in the classroom that I was using, the smartboard, it wasn't, it was broken, so I wasn't able to use it in a way that would have been effective. It was more, I was just using it as a tool, but not using it to enhance the learning. And as well, even in my PS1 classroom,